Welcome back to the Rogues Passage podcast. I'm Tanner Cherry. This is a little special bonus episode that I'm trying to sneak in under the wing of some stuff that's been happening in the grapevine. I am joined by Brando as usual, but we also have a pretty sick guest for this one. Beau, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Beau Danger. I'm a metal vocalist from Edmonton, Alberta, and also a big alien enthusiast. So, yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, I messaged Beau the other day because like this stuff all started happening, and I was like, shit, I've been sitting on this idea of recording this podcast with asking Beau if he wanted to do it for, I mean, probably a year. The idea's been in the back of my mind, right? Because this is largely, I guess, Magic the Gathering focused podcast, but we definitely have a lot of nerd tentacles in other directions, and like I've always wanted to do the deep dive on the Alien franchise, and somebody like in regards to like social media or just life in general, like Beau, I feel like it's always like the nod, you know, like the shit that you're posting, this shit, like I know that I've always wanted to dig in. It'd be sweet to do like a movie marathon one day, but we are gathered here because like for people that are like obsessed with the Alien franchise, whether you consider that a trilogy or 4 movies, there is a new film coming out very soon. And like very soon as in I think we might be getting a trailer this month, March of our Lord 2024. And I'm like scared. I'm scared. How do you feel about this? What all do you guys know about this film that's coming?
Yeah, so we can just break it down here. Like, first off, what kind of got me excited is like writer-director FedeAlvarez. You know, he did the Evil Dead reboot 2013, which I loved. I don't know if you guys
crushed
saw it.
it.
Like, awesome film. Yeah. What else did he do? Don't Breathe, Girl in the Spider's Web, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like the dude's got some chops. So right there, I'm like, you know, this could be sick. What else? As far as the cast, like Kaylee Spaney as like lead role, so we're gonna have another female lead role, which I love that they're continuing that tradition, you know, with Ripley. So so
oh, go ahead.
I know absolutely nothing about this. I've heard it in purely name only, mostly from you, Tanner. But I am excited because this is supposed to be like a proper continuation, right? Like kind of,
it's like a standalone story. So like there's no Ripley, there's no engine, it's nothing. It's just like totally new characters, totally new setting, and it takes place
it's not attached to like the Prometheus and
it takes place between the first movie and the second movie. Apparently.
It's actually like by design, not attached to the Prometheus series of what was supposed to be a prequel trilogy. We can get into why it probably will never actually finish the trilogy later. But like, that was one thing that Fede, I'm happy about, was the fact that he was like, I'm not going to touch that stuff. I'm frankly not going to touch any of the other content. Like, I just want to do a standalone thing that has, you know, sits on its own legs, which is wonderful because like you don't need to rely on the crowd or the fan service thing to make an Alien movie.
He just wants to take the Alien, put it in his own fucking story, and I'm totally behind that. As a big fan of you know, all the graphic novels and everything. All these people made their own stories in the universe, and they're all sick. You don't need to just continue that same story arc. Like there's so many stories to be told, right?
Yes, and so although like from the very minute things that I've heard about the leaks that have happened recently, is that this movie, and like Beau said, it takes place in between the first Alien film and the second. Which is, if you remember correctly, Ellen Ripley is in an escape capsule drifting in space for I believe it's 57 years.
So
she's
something
out
like
there,
that.
right? So there's like a gap in between there, and he's making this film slot right in the middle, which also one of the other greatest pieces to ever enter the Alien lore sits in, which is Alien Isolation, right? Alien Isolation sits in between the first 2 films. It showcases Amanda Ripley, Ellen Ripley's daughter, somewhat obsessed with trying to find her mother. And man, I'm excited I really want to get into, I just recently bought it again, and I want to start streaming it on the channel. I want to start just like playing it. I'm worried that I'm probably gonna have to play it here at night while my toddler is sleeping the next room over. Right, that game is not a nice chill little ride.
No, it's not.
No, it is scary as hell, man.
Yeah,
it's like the only game I've ever played that's like I had to like take an hour-long break, or like after an hour of playing, like get up from my chair, like shaking hands, like, oh, okay, my heart's gonna explode, goodbye.
Yeah, so
it's stress.
Anyway, the leaks did suggest that there will be actually some canon like relationships, ties to other movies in some way, but it's not the focus. So it like this sounds perfect so far. Right?
True.
I'm stoked. Yep.
We're apparently like on the cusp of getting a trailer for this film. But like one of the things that sort of stands out is like how tight-lipped everything's been. Like there's like one of the reasons why I wanted to jump on and like do this and shout it to the people that like our audience is because I think a lot of people who like the Alien franchise might not even know that this film exists or that the series exists. They've been just very lackluster in regards to promoting it.
Yeah.
And I know that like they were really tight-lipped on the cast for a while. They're like up until this past weekend there was no details whatsoever other than where it sat in the timeline.
Right.
The Noah Hawley TV series is similarly pretty tight, although I think there was some
they've kind of given us a bit more details on that one.
Yeah, I think that was because there was audition tapes that got leaked. So like the characters and the audition tapes for that was pretty early. But the Noah Hawley series, okay, this one trips me out a lot. I know we'll get back to Romulus. That's like the focus of this. Yeah. But the Noah Hawley TV series, which oh my God, I was very close to being able to actually get to work on. I got invited by the crew, like, because I worked on The Last of Us here in Calgary for a year, and the construction lead that I worked under was going back to Vancouver to shoot this Alien series, and I got invited to come out, and I had to say no because this like essentially didn't work with like having an infant child and like the daycare and then like this and that, so I had to say no, and I narrowly like I said no. My heart was crushed. It was like the worst thing I ever had to do was like say no to being invited to fucking work, like potentially be on set in like a Nostromo type set or something like that, right? Yeah. But then it got canceled. It like the shooting in Vancouver, it was no longer a thing, and I'm pretty sure it got shipped to somewhere else. I don't know if it. I think Romulus was being shot in Budapest, but I can't remember which one, but the series got shipped somewhere else. So I didn't actually miss out. I would have missed out anyway. But that one, sorry, just like all these long rants, man. My head is so full of this shit right now. The Noah Hawley series is like he's done the Fargo is like
Fargo, Legion. He did some work on Bones way back in the day, so he's also got some pretty good credits. So.
Yeah, so for people that are connected to this series and what it normally encompasses, there's a really strange thing about this television series. It takes place on Earth, which no alien thing has ever taken place on Earth, and it takes place about 40 years from now, way before anything in the series. So
yeah,
that's why I'm like trying to wrap my head around like what story are you gonna tell that could have any relation? Is it might focus on like the Weyland kind of like Weyland-Yutani progression. Is it gonna have an alien? Like,
I mean, it might be one of those things where they try to take a build up where it's like season 1, they try to break away from just the alien stuff. They know that they're going to get to that payoff, especially if they're using it in name. But like, there's so much like background history for like how they got there that like, I wouldn't be surprised if season 1 is like, you know, the first androids, them starting to explore the stars kind of thing. Maybe they see like precursor alien stuff at the end of the season. And then it's like, oh, hey, that's why you want to pay attention for season 2 is now we're getting to the alien.
Yeah, there's yeah, go ahead.
If you look at the cast, it says there's Sydney Chandler as Wendy, and then it's a woman who has the body of an adult but the consciousness of a child.
Right. Yeah.
And then Timothy Olyphant, who I fucking love, is like her android mentor and trainer. It says like in the cast. So I think we're gonna get a lot of like android kind of stuff, which is sick. I do really like delving into that. But yeah, so
yeah, I mean, at its heart, the Alien franchise. I mean, it's not front facing, but at its heart, the Alien franchise has been very, very focused on AI.
Yes,
like artificial intelligence and androids and stuff like that. And like, there's actually a really cool. I will say, like, for Alien Romulus, look out for a synthetic human in it, and his name is probably going to start with the letter E, and we don't know that for sure yet. But if there's one thing, this cool little Easter egg that has been laced into the Alien series, Alien had Ash, right? Ash was and then in second one it was Bishop,
A, B,
and then Call in the third one, and David in the fourth, right? Which not technically the fourth, right? Like they're prequels, but they've been doing this A, B, C, D kind of this alphabetical, like every single movie has a very, very intimate, weird relationship with how this xenomorph and like the life form ties in with artificial intelligence and like the weird obsession that AI has with it, which was the biggest thing that I was happy with when it came to David, right? Leaning into, and then, man, the fact that spoilers, I mean, sorry if you're here, I'm hoping that you've seen all the movies, but like in Alien Covenant,
they've been out for long enough.
Yeah, in Alien, it's been 10 years I think for Covenant, right?
Yeah. We're good.
Alien Covenant, like really, the biggest payoff was the fact that it showed that David was essentially the initial architect of the xenomorph from the neomorph, right? The one who like took it to that next step of evolution, and it's this weird obsession that the AI in this series has with the xenomorph, right? Like even that scene with Bishop. You remember the scene with Bishop where he's like working on the facehugger in the lab?
Oh yeah, he's just like mesmerized by it. Yeah.
Buddy comes up, he's like, "You need anything?" And just like the weird stare, right? Like he's just like, obsessed. No. Find someone who looks at you like Bishop looks at that facehugger.
Right.
All right, so name potentially starting with an EA.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take a guess and say it's that Elias.
Elias? Oh, that sounds
Elias.
All right,
Edward. I don't know.
Because I know a lot of Alien or like the Alien franchise too. They've got like they love to do the undertone of like the pseudo religiousness. Like it's never been like the god.
Well, like creator.
Kind of yeah. So something like like Elias, I'm pretty sure is
biblical.
One of those sort of biblical names.
Ezekiel.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah, Ezekiel is maybe a
David. I think touched on that as well, right? That name. What was? Sorry, it was Walter. Was the other David, correct?
Yeah.
The other version.
Yeah.
Man,
the good David.
How? Oh man, I feel like it's gonna be so hard to keep this podcast on the rails in regards to like direction. Like, I guess let's go right to the start. Let's. I want to ask, like, Beau, what was your first experience? Do you remember how you got introduced to this stuff?
Yeah. So just growing up, like my mom and dad were big sci-fi fantasy people. So from like age 6, 7, I was watching Alien, Predator, Terminator, all kinds of stuff like that. And so just fell in love with it from a super young age. And then just as I got older, read all the graphic novels, comics, and played all the video games and stuff. And I've just been obsessed with it all my life, basically.
Do you remember? Do you remember what your first what the first one you saw was?
I can't remember if I watched the first one or the second one first, but the one that always stuck in my mind the most was Aliens, the second one.
Yeah, of course.
With the Marines and the Queen. I think that's like everyone always remembers that one.
Yeah.
And then, like watching like the first one and the third one and stuff as a kid, you don't really like understand really what's happening. Like there's a lot of, other shit going on than just the monster in the movies. And then going back watching them when I was older, like in high school and stuff, you're like, wow, there's so much crazy shit going on in these stories, you know? Yeah.
And even today, like I'll toss a shout out to the Perfect Organism podcast. Those guys are incredible. Like they've dedicated their life to not only the Perfect Organism podcast, but they also do the Shoulder of Orion podcast for the Blade Runner series.
Right.
Literally, like, if you want to know everything and anything about every scene, every director, every actor, every writer, everything about these series, like just straight into the veins. That is the podcast to go to. But shit, why did I bring that up? I just wanted to shout them out because my brain is a mess today. Brandon, where do you remember your first one, the first one you saw, or how you got introduced?
The first one I saw, very, very similar to Beau's story. Just when I was a kid, I remember my parents love, like as soon as I got to the point where I could start watching films, and probably even a bit before like it really became a thing, I watched a lot of horror movies that I probably should have way too damn young. Yeah. And I know that Alien was one of them. Definitely the first film, and I think I was obsessed with that. I think I watched it probably a dozen times before I even like had recognition that there was others, because it was still way older than I was. But it's been like a yearly, it's basically a yearly thing. It's the Alien franchise, yes, including all of the other ones and the one that shall not be named, are all on a rotation for me. Every Halloween, it's Ghostbusters, and then Ghostbusters again in Christmas, but then it's all of the Alien films, all of the Predator films, all of them in order, because it's just like even for when they start getting to like Alien versus Predator, I don't care if it's hokey, I don't care if it's nonsense. It's monster versus monster. That's good in my books.
Just seeing them both on the same screen, you're like, oh fuck
yeah. I was actually like, as somebody who grew up reading the novels, the Alien versus Predator novels and the comic books, collecting all the collectible cards, everything involving Alien versus Predator, and then when I saw that they were making a movie, I was excited. And then I think one of the most disappointing things that in my childhood that I've ever experienced was going to a theater and watching two predators just get their ass fucking murked immediately, right? Like 3 predators touch down on the planet, 2 die like instantly. And I'm just like, wait, these predators are cool though. Like what? They're so strong and why are they dead? Like it was like the weirdest thing. I was just like, what the fuck are they doing? And the second movie made up for that. Requiem at least showed a very like a predator that was
a capable predator. He knew what he was doing.
And like, there was prowess, there was skill, there was like, and that was the one, I guess. Well, there's more than one critique about the first Alien versus Predator film, especially if you're like a fan of the novels, right? The novels were like perfect. It was like, why didn't you just
do the novels, bro, with Machiko and shit? Oh my God.
Exactly, with Machiko. You know what really kills me, and like I found this out on the Alien or Perfect Organism podcast, is that Fox commissioned an anime of the first 2 novels for Alien versus Predator. It's been made for like 8 years and it's on the shelf. They made an anime, like they got a Japanese studio to animate.
That could be like one of the sickest animes ever, dude. What the fuck are they doing?
It's crazy. Apparently, the only thing that they did where they deviated was that the main character, like the Predator, I can't remember what his name was or like what
the main one from the first book, Broken Tusk or whatever.
Yeah. So like they added a bit of like a cybernetic, like cyborg Predator element to his character because he got like really fucked up and then like the humans rebuilt him or something like but this has apparently been like sitting on the shelf for years, and Fox is just like, I don't know, I don't think it'll sell, and they're just not releasing it, which is like a crime. I think it's criminal.
Like what's the benefit of sitting on, like, just release it, even if it sells to one guy, you're still like making more money than nothing, you know?
It's paid for. It's done.
Just got locked up in fucking Area 51. We got to storm that motherfucker.
Basically, yeah. Like I guess I'll tell my story with like my inception of the Alien franchise. I went to bed one night. I remember. It would have been, I believe, Alien 3 was released in '92, I think. And I would have been 7. So I went to bed, and my parents started watching a movie, and I came out and walked down the hallway, and they caught me standing in the hallway watching the movie. And then I was like, I had already watched 20 minutes, so I was invested, and I remember fighting really hard, being like, please, can I watch it? My parents were like, this is fucking rated R, dude, you're 7. And somehow my parents made the decision to let me sit there and watch it with them after I should have been in bed. And like, Alien 3 is it's unique, but as a 7-year-old, that scared the absolute fucking daylights out of me.
Oh,
When Buddy gets like acid in his face and rolls into the giant circulation fan, it's not the kind of thing I'm going to show my 7-year-old.
That movie's got some dense like atmosphere, man. Very, very terrifying for sure.
Well, and the crazy part is that like, so that was a VHS rental, right? That was like Alien 3 just came out on VHS. And then the reason, like, I know a lot of people don't really sit well with Alien Resurrection because they really felt like, you know, Ripley died at the end of Alien 3. It was a really like tragic and beautiful send-off. She took the last, like the queen embryo with her. Right, it was like very poetic, and then Alien Resurrection was like, what if we just changed all that shit and rewrote her back into the story, right? So a lot of people are like, they were pissed. Also, the director took it in a bit of a
very weird direction.
I don't know, early 2000s or whatever it is, kind of.
Yeah,
had a
like,
vibe.
There's definitely a lot you could pick apart about it, but like, to be fair, it's not like they brought Ripley back like it was a clone.
Yeah,
right?
but the thing
like
is,
they just resurrected her for no reason. But
it felt like the most plot devicey thing of any plot device, right? Just to like
abolished.
Yeah, but I will say that I'm not one of the people that writes that off because it's the only one that I saw in theaters on opening day.
Okay.
Right? So like, I didn't have the opportunity to see any of the other films in theaters opening day. It wasn't like Alien Resurrection for me was like my Alien, like the zeitgeist of that whole series. It's part of it for me. It for sure is part of it. And especially as a however old I was, 14, 12, that movie fucking slapped.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember watching Resurrection for the first time, and it was like kind of alongside like John Carpenter's The Thing. It didn't. I feel like it doesn't hold up, especially the special effects, as much as like the OG The Thing movie did. But just that weird dummy, like the half human, half xenomorph. Sorry, spoilers for a 40-year-old movie.
Oh, the newborn.
The newborn.
The newborn, or just like this weird gross. Hulking mass of
emotion, like Brandon.
Skin on. Of emotion. I was like, yeah, when you see that like you're a kid, it's just like it doesn't faze you. But I feel like a lot of people who do come into the Alien franchise now and they get to Resurrection, we're just like, okay, yeah, it's all old and hokey, and then they get to there and they're like, what is this? What the hell is this?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful butterfly.
I just remember like that's like when it pans over like the queen and she's like got like the womb and shit going. I just remember being like, what the fuck?
You know,
like that was the fucked up shit.
I actually think that like H.R. Giger would have been proud, or like, well, I mean, he was still alive at that point, but like he was into really weird like body horror, phallic, like sort of crossing the line, like, pushing the boundaries, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure he was so on board.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So anyway, like for Alien Romulus, which I remember for a time it seemed like it was going to be a code name, and then it just ended up
being the name.
Yeah, Alien Romulus is the next, because it's Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Alien Romulus. Now in the world of Prometheus and Alien Covenant, those are sort of like named after the ship that's involved in the film. So there's a chance that that Romulus is the name of the station or the ship. I think what they said, I think what has been combed out so far is that this takes place on a planet at some sort of like, kind of like what Hadley's Hope in Aliens was, like a station,
like a mining planet kind of mining station.
And actually,
kind of
here I'm going to pop over to this left monitor here. I don't know if you, Beau, you probably saw this, like on Alien Day last year, which is April 20th, or sorry, April 26th. LV 426 is the Alien Day. He released this shot, and it partly looked like it was CG, and it's not. It's just really clever photography. But one of the cool, so this is actually from the set.
Okay.
And something that he actually pointed out recently was that there's like all these little spines on the facehugger's fingers, like almost like a gecko has to like climb a wall or something.
right,
like, for grip, and he was just like, yeah, he's like, I'm surprised nobody like pointed that out or like was talking about it. But it seems like another thing that I want to point out here on the wall. Like, first of all, we've got a Weyland-Yutani logo on the wall, right? Mm-hmm. This is building better worlds, so it's tied in that regard. Although there was some people talking about, like, man, it's been so diluted now. I know that the Alien vs. Predator films had Weyland in it as well, right?
They had Weyland and they had Yutani.
Right, and the Yutani thing, I think, was the part where they broke the canon timeline or something. I can't remember. So, like, this film takes place in between the first and second films, which is way later. So Weyland-Yutani, I think, is a thing. But for some reason, people were saying that this shouldn't be here. I wish I had more information. I've listened to that
because I think
a year ago.
In the first movie, they keep talking about the company, and then in the second movie, they have Weyland-Yutani, and I think it's kind of like, maybe not even retcon, but like the company they were talking about in the first movie is Weyland-Yutani.
I see, yeah.
You know, but I don't know if that's true or not. But
yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna find out soon. It's kind of crazy. Like, this is a year ago almost when they released this photo, and this is all we've had. So, like, they've been filming since a year ago, and we've just haven't seen a bloody thing. One of the other things that I'd like to point out in this photo, if you're not watching on YouTube and you're just listening on Spotify or whatever, in the top right here, there is this is from Alien Isolation. That's one of the what are they, the data port thing where you save your game,
right? Yeah.
So, like, there's some extreme, like, some reverence here to the whole world of lore in this stuff, and I'm really God, I'm so excited, guys.
I've heard a lot of whispers because I've been kind of trying to stay out of, like, focus of this, be surprised. Also, just my mind's just been on other things, but I've heard a bunch of whispers that there's been a lot of work on this show or on this movie for the trying to, like, really capture, like, the old movies motif of, like, that sort of, like, futuristic,
the cassette core kind of
the cassette or whatever. That's it.
Yeah, cassette futurism.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see more than anything.
Hell yeah.
Is, like, the homage to the OGs, because, like, I loved Prometheus and them. They have their faults, Prometheus and Filament. But I think the thing that really just kind of, like, took it out of, for me, it was the fact it's like, they don't have any of that cassette core. It's like, it's too futuristic. It's like, why is this prequels if everything is cleaner and shinier than everything else?
Yeah, they did screw that up. Now, I know, like, I from what I heard, like, even Alien Isolation, they like had to, like, develop, like, new like, plugins and software for Unreal or whatever they made the game in to make a CRT monitor, like a computer monitor, look like it does in real life when, like, from angles.
Does the, like, the flicker?
They went to so much effort to make that game the atmosphere.
They nailed it, man.
Nailed it. Yeah, there's a DLC. I think there's called the Crew Expendable DLC that you can actually go in and, like, explore the actual Nostromo floating in space. And there's, like,
cool.
Like, you can go walk through the Nostromo. Like, there's a actual, and you can play this game in VR too. Alien Isolation is VR. Well, it's not compatible.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's jank. Unfortunately, the port isn't really, like, great. You still have to, like, your gun or whatever, like, or your item is locked to your vision. You can't really, like, move it separately because the game wasn't designed for VR. But I mean, who the fuck would want to play that game in VR?
Dude, I would shit my pants so hard it wouldn't even be funny.
So I guess one thing that we should hit on is predictions. Like, what? I don't know. I'll let Beau take it off first here. What do you think this movie's gonna be like?
So yeah, we kind of touched on that. It's it's taking place between the first two films, so we're just still gonna have that cassette core kind of feel to it, which I'm really stoked about. Yeah, there's just so much room to just tell a different story. I like that we got the female lead again, but this kind of gives us a chance to explore. Maybe even go back and explore more of, like, the space jockey. Like, maybe he's not an engineer, maybe he's something else, something that came before the engineers. More of the origin of the alien. yeah, I don't know. My mind's kind of going crazy here. It's kind of hard to laser focus on something specific, but yeah, I'm just stoked for new characters, new direction, you know, just in general. Yeah. So
I just hope, and I'm glad to hear that you two seem to have like faith in this director, because it's so easy, especially when it comes to like people taking over popular properties like this for trying to do their own thing, and they're vocal about trying to do their own thing, and then they kind of screw it up. It's why we got Godzilla 2000. It's why the new trilogy of Star Wars is kind of an all over the place mess, and it's just like these directors that have this great vision but don't really have like a love for like the true love for the actual source material.
Right.
And so I'm just, based off of everything that we've seen so far, and from what I've heard from you two, it seems as though we're probably going to get that, and that's all I really want.
Yeah, I mean, FedeAlvarez, like if you think about like The Last of Us was Neil Druckmann was a part of building the actual game, and then God, what's his name? Did Chernobyl. Jeez. Why I worked on this show. I can't believe I'm forgetting. Hold on a second. HBO Last of Us. The director that came on board with him was Craig Mazin, and he did he was hot off the heels of like Chernobyl being such a success, right? And like being proven, and apparently like he went into the Netflix studios and was like, I got this idea, and they were like, dude, I don't even care, like it's a yes. Like you slayed it so hard that like whatever you want to do, we'll do. And that was how Last of Us got made, was he was just like, I have a passion project idea and I want to make it happen. And like FedeAlvarez is on a hot streak, right? He's like a slasher flick director, which like, come on, like how have they not let a slasher flick director do an alien film? Like this is perfect. It's going to be buck wild. And so also Ridley Scott is very protective of this IP. He's almost to a fault, right? He's very protective of what, like letting, this is the first, so like as a side here, the Prometheus was meant to be a prequel trilogy. Alien Covenant was the second piece of that. And the studio was so, like they fucked with Ridley Scott so hard with what he wanted to do in that second film, and they pushed him around because he got into the second film and they were like, why is there no alien? Come on, like this is an alien series, it's called Alien Covenant. And he's like, fuck you made me call it Alien Covenant. It was supposed to be called Covenant.
Exactly.
And they pushed him.
To be alien in it at all.
And I don't know if you guys remember, actually I'll try and bring it up on the second screen here. Just let me look this Alien Covenant poster. If you look at the poster for Alien Covenant, we'll go back to this here. Which one was it? It was like one of these, right? Like it was, oh jeez. Cookies, bro. The cookies. Like all of the art for Alien Covenant was based around like the alien, the Xenomorph.
Right.
And this was something that the I guess the studio pushed really heavily for, because they were like, bro, why are you teasing me? This is the second piece and we still haven't got to the alien yet. The whole scene here that this shot from, this alien that was like on top of the ship as they were trying to escape the planet, was not supposed to be in the film. That was apparently like forcefully pressed upon Ridley Scott to do, because he was taking too long to tell the story. And so apparently this whole debacle pissed him off so much that he's essentially scrapped the third piece. Which is such a shame.
As big of an Alien fan as I was, and obviously I did want the alien to appear in the trilogy at some point, when I started seeing the alien like on all the Alien Covenant stuff, I was like, what? Like, aren't they kind of rushing this shit?
Yeah, because there was a poster that had like, I think it's this one, right? There's just like alien all over it. God, I've got my screen in the wrong spot, but yeah, this one here. I remember this was
supposed to be more of like a Prometheus 2, not a Alien 0. You know what I mean? So
we could probably do a whole second episode talking about the prequels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It was. I don't know if you've seen like any of the deleted scenes and stuff from Covenant, where the direction that he was trying to go, that he got pushed out of. There was a whole bunch of Elizabeth Shaw with David.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, where he's like going in depth. That's how he was like creating the Xenomorph and everything.
Yeah.
And torturing her and shit.
Whereas the version of Covenant that we got was like, oh, we found David. Hey, where's Elizabeth Shaw? It's like,
well, I made her into an alien.
Yeah,
bada bing, bada boom.
She dead. She over there on the table. Like,
yeah,
that the movie was not supposed to be like that, and apparently like
no.
the relationship with the studio has crumbled, and yeah, we might not get the third piece. So anyway, like, I went into this whole diatribe to like talk about the fact that Ridley Scott had that happen to him, and now for the first time ever, he's like, you know what? If someone wants to do an alien film, I'm going to give him permission to do so. And FedeAlvarez was the one that walked in and was like, I desperately want to do this.
Apparently, when I was doing some research before the podcast here, I was looking up, Alien Romulus news, and apparently back in like October, September, Ridley Scott saw an early cut of the film and said, I quote, "It's fucking great."
Yeah.
So that alone makes me like, okay,
yeah,
we're back on track, baby. You know,
I just like, if 10 years ago I would have been like, oh my god, they have Ridley Scott's blessing. It's perfect. It's perfect. But 2024, I'm like, I don't know. Ridley's kind of, he's kind of getting weird.
He is. That's true. Yeah,
but I do trust, and I'm really excited to see, like, if he walked out and said it was good. Like, man, we're in a bit of a golden era right now. We got like Denis Villeneuve like doing some of the greatest work that cinema's ever seen with some of the best IPs that have ever existed, right?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he's the, I really do feel like Denis Villeneuve is like the Ridley Scott of of this decade.
Yeah,
right?
I would agree for sure.
He did the Blade Runner sequel,
which was sick.
He did Arrival. He did Dune Part 1 and Part 2.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the movie good. Enemy that he did?
Enemy? No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, that is a trip. You got to check that one out. Okay. It's like way more like low key, slow burn kind of, but there's like a huge twist at the end, and you're like, holy fuck! Yeah, check it out. Enemy.
Enemy. Okay.
Jake Gyllenhaal in it. Yeah.
Oh, nice, sick. Yeah. Have you have I guess Brandon, you and potentially if I can make it, I want to come. But Dune Part 2 tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Have you seen it yet, Beau?
I sure have, and it's fucking sick.
Oh god. Oh yeah. Again, catch us next week. We'll maybe dig into that. There is some, man, I came home reeling. Even just the last 20 minutes, I was like, wait, what? How, what? But like it's doesn't feel like it's changed that much, but there was a lot of things in the end of that movie that were just like, wait, this changes things a lot.
Yeah, there's some different stuff you'll see in the second one too, but I don't know. I enjoy the hell of it. It was really well done. So.
And that popcorn bucket, bro.
I didn't get the popcorn. I was in the VIP theater, so I was drinking beer and eating like bar food. So.
Yeah, we got there and they said they were all sold out. I'm sure they were sold out for a week, but
I'm sure they were just holding them in the back. That cup is kind of sus.
Holding them in the back for what?
What do you think? For all that butter.
For all the butter. All right, so the TV series, I guess we can't really talk about it too much, other than the fact that I just wanted to talk about it and let everybody know that, like, we're getting a 10-hour TV series, 10 episodes, and it's confirmed that it's not an isolated series. It could potentially be a season 1 of many.
Which would be sick as long as they don't fuck it up.
Yeah, as long as they don't fuck it up, which, like, if they try to do like a newborn thing or whatever, right? Like, try and add their own thing into it, who knows where it could go, but like,
yeah,
God.
It's by Hulu. Oh no.
Yes, it is going to be on Hulu.
That's a big red flag for me.
Whoa, we'll have to see. Why?
Because there's been, especially over like the last like 5 to 10 years, there's been a lot of properties that Hulu's gotten their hands on and basically been like, if you like come out of the woodworks of like directors that have like wanted to create things, they've gotten picked up by Hulu, and then Hulu has sat back and be like, you need to meet these specific expectations, and have literally had directors rewrite entire scripts to make it a Hulu what they want it to be. And it's like that's a little scary. The staff though looks good. All of these are the like the actors. Everybody I'm seeing on this list looks promising.
Ooh, yeah. That from what I'm hearing, actually, there's a new Blade Runner series coming. I'm gonna actually look this up and get some. It's Blade Runner 2099.
Oh shit!
And from what I'm hearing, it's in big trouble.
Oh
yeah.
All of the actors are pulling out.
Oh,
because apparently they started, instead of letting somebody, like for instance the Dune Part 1, Part 2, like the new adaptation of Dune, Denis Villeneuve has a vision. He's enacting that vision. He's leading the cast, right? He's leading the people down that rabbit hole. I guess the Blade Runner 2099 series went to like creative committee or something, so they're letting like 10 different people just like write whatever pieces they want without consulting each other or something. And I guess it was just like the weirdest thing, and the actors just might be like pulling out, so we might not be getting that. Like it's,
I mean, yeah, it depends on how they'd want to do that. Because if they were like thinking of that like a Black Mirror thing,
like an anthology,
that could be really cool.
Right, like standalone episodes.
Yeah.
That
would be sick.
Black Mirror did that very well. Black Mirror. Shout out to Black Mirror. Cheers.
Well, because Black Mirror specifically, how they did it too is they didn't go into it being like there's any actual narrative here. It was basically like they took like Sundance Film Festival and just brought it to like we're not having a festival, we're just streamlining everybody's ideas and putting it under one name.
Yeah. That series just screwed me up so much.
Oh my god, yeah. It's hard to watch sometimes. Like you got to be in the mood for it, you know.
Yeah.
It can fuck you up.
Heavy. Dude, the one with the guy that goes in to like test that video game or whatever, and then he goes into the haunted house with like and there's like that spider that comes out of the wall. Like, do you remember that one where he's in the house and they're telling him that he's like testing this video game, and the video game is like happening in his head or something, right?
Yeah.
And the video game is supposed to like figure out what his biggest fears are, and then like sort of put those in the house. And this episode ends with him, like, I guess his father like had dementia and like died not knowing who he was, so like this manifested fear in the back of his mind. Like the episode ends with him like his entire mind shredding apart, like not knowing what's going on, and like it is so horrific. It is
that's
so hard to watch.
One.
Yeah, it's not a show for light viewing. Or at least not. Some episodes are and some episodes aren't. Well,
didn't they start it off like they came right out the gate with an episode about a dude having to have sex with a pig on live TV?
Yeah, that was the first episode. Yeah. Fuck a pig on like live TV.
Yeah, or else they'd like release like all of the nation's like dirtiest secrets, and it's just like, what are you gonna do?
National security better fuck this pig.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh god. Black Mirror. You have my respect.
Oh yeah, it was a good series. It's also just beautifully terrifying that a lot of that stuff's probably gonna happen.
Yeah, well, every episode of Black Mirror is
it's like so near future, right?
It's like, tent pulled on like a top down design or whatever of a concept that we fear, and then they write the story about how that could be brought into reality.
Right,
like stuff we fear about the future in regarding technology or stuff like that.
There are some that are like really great that almost have a happy ending. Like one of my favorite episodes is the one that has like the two like old ladies that have their consciousness like uploaded into this other world where they're like young forever and shit, and there's like some turmoil that happens in the episode, but at the end they both just decide to like live out their lives in this like program, being like happy together. And you're like, by the end of it, you're like, fuck, that's kind of beautiful.
San Junipero or something. Black
something like that.
Mirror, San Junipero. That episode, like, man, so many of them just have nestled in.
Yeah,
they've done so well with that.
Yeah, crazy.
All right, where you guys want to go next? Anything any memories you have of like, well, okay, I guess I can take this off. Like when it comes to action figures and like toys and collectibles, I have I've been meaning to do an episode on this channel of the binders that I have of the I have the Alien versus Predator collectible card game.
Oh,
right. They're used to. This was my first experience. Actually, this is very relatable on this channel that we usually talk about Magic the Gathering, which is a collectible card game that you open booster packs and play a game with game pieces. There was a CCG for Alien versus Predator, and it was the first thing that I ever used to. I'd take the bus right from school, right from like junior high, and I'd go down to Dick's Collectibles in what is that like?
What did they collect?
It was like mostly baseball cards, right? Like at that time it was baseball cards. There definitely would have been Magic the Gathering on the shelf. I just wasn't really like aware of that game. But there was also the Alien versus Predator CCG. You could buy a starter deck, and the starter deck had, you could buy an Alien one, a Marine one, or a Predator one. And is this the first you're hearing of this?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have to show you. Actually, here,
okay, so
I'm going to bring up
Tanner,
on the second monitor.
We're going to dig this up, and if it's not like exuberantly expensive, we're going to get ourselves these decks. We got to do an episode. We got to
Brandon, I have all the cards.
You have
all of them? Still sitting on this entire cache. I've been waiting to bust this loose. Okay, on the screen now you'll see, like for instance, here's the Alien Queen, right? This is, yes, I agree to get your cookies. This is only €6. In 1997, bro. The Alien vs. Predator, Harper Prism, CCG. This card here, this is the 0 movement, 7 power. It can never move. Alien Queen does power plus 3 damage. See special alien rules. There was an entire game, and the crazy part was that the game got an expansion set with Alien Resurrection.
Did you get those?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of the Resurrection cards. They look like this. This is like Magic the Gathering. It's inspired by Magic the Gathering. We've got to play this game. Yeah.
We've got to play this game, dude.
I used to play this game, but I guarantee you I never once in my life played it properly. I was too young. It was 1997, 98. Again, this was like right after learning about this whole series. It changed my life. Here they are. Here's the starter decks. This is these 3 little packs. I used to go down to Dick's Collectibles, and I used to buy this game, and I'd buy booster packs. We'd get new cards. Me and my buddy Matt and his brother Chris, we would play this game all night, and it actually has like this really cool system. Like, you know how like Magic the Gathering has mana? Mm-hmm. Well, this game has like locations, and each turn you play a location, and you play like another location next to your ones, right? You build out like a physical map with these cards, and if you happen to play a location that matches one of your opponent's locations, you can then travel, like it acts as the same place, right? So then you can actually connect and go through to their board. And as the alien, you are basically like trying to convert all of your locations into hive locations. And once it's a hive location, then you can start making like chest bursters and facehuggers, and you can start building an army of aliens. As the Predator, the crazy thing about playing as the Predator was, oh God, here's a whole list. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. You can see on screen here, we've got all of the people from the movie and stuff, right? There's Ripley. Let's just look at a Predator for a second. This, like a Predator, basically you'd start the game as, if you were playing the Predator, you had one Predator, and you had a bunch of like equipment. Yeah, and like you as the Predator, you had a serious advantage on combat, and you could use stealth counters to like kind of move around and be cloaked. You basically had to get 12 or like a certain amount of honor and then extract, like 12 honor. You had to get honor and extract. The aliens had to build a whole bunch of aliens and then kill people, and then the Marines would have to either kill everybody or rescue hostages. It was like, it was really, really deep and really cool. And I remember even like, this was my first experience going to the Sentry Box. Shout out to the Sentry Box in Calgary. It's like, it is technically one of like the largest gaming stores in Canada. And I remember going there for, it was like an Alien versus Predator competition. And there was a regional rep there. And if you went and entered the competition, you got one of the promo cards that you could only ever get from being there at that exact place. So it was like a unique card that only existed for that 3 weeks or something.
What the fuck? Cool. That's crazy.
Yeah, like they tried to do like all the things that Magic the Gathering did, right? But like Magic
never really took off.
Magic is 30 years strong now. That game has been going.
Yeah, when you're attached to D&D, because I'm pretty sure Dungeons and Dragons came first, cult hit that swept the nation and people were mad. And how far back does D&D go? Is it just
D&D is good question.
It started late 70s, early 80s. I forget.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you've got that and the company behind, which is the Coast already doing that, like that you're going to succeed. But I'd be curious because it's like, right, it's not the studio. It's like highly doubtful that it's Ridley Scott that's like behind the actual like merchandising of this.
It would have to be like Fox, wouldn't it? Or Fox would license it to somebody. I don't know.
Fox would probably license it to somebody, right? Because especially back in those days, it's like, what is a news company or like a production company going to go into trading card games for?
Yeah, so like TCGs,
I can't believe this is the first I'm hearing of this.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like as a very small, tiny human, a proto-human, if you will, I got like obsessed with this card game, and I spent all my spare money on buying cards, and this was probably the biggest reason why I got like a hyper focus on this franchise. And the cool thing is that it was the Alien versus Predator card game, right? And now at this time there was comic books, there was this and that, the novels existed. There was no movie though, right? Yeah. And a lot of people when they saw the Alien versus Predator movie get announced, they were like, "Oh, come on, you're pitting whatever against whatever." And it's like,
this has already been a thing forever. Yeah,
this has been a thing for a long time. Like this card game came out in '97, right? The comic books and the novels.
It was basically since Predator 2 when they showed the alien skull in the ship. That's what started it all, right?
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna bring that up here.
I get the gripes though. Not that I think that they're founded on anything, because that was about the same era that all of like you were getting Freddy versus Jason. You were getting like the ghost from The Ring versus the ghost from
I remember watching an interview with Sigourney Weaver, and someone brought up, "So have you heard about this new Alien versus Predator movie coming out?" And she's like, "That sounds fucking terrible." I was like, "Oh."
Atta girl.
I like that she says that, and then she goes to star in Paul. Funny movie, great movie. You're gonna riff on wood.
She's got to get paid,
right?
I'm sure. You want to talk about weird like. Sigourney Weaver said that she would never come back to the Alien series, right? She wanted to be done with it. It would have been like,
right.
She
cloned her again.
Yeah, right. Well, you know what surprised me the most was that who was the director? It was the guy that did was it Cloverfield or something?
Oh,
he proposed and he got the permission to do.
Was that Neil Blomkamp?
Yeah, Neil Blomkamp. Neil Blomkamp got permission to do an Alien film, and he did the biggest the cojones on this man. He was like, you know what? Always hated Alien 3. What if we just acted like it never happened? He's like, let's do Alien 2.5.
Did you see some of the concept artwork that he did for it, though? The shit looks fucking actually so sick.
It did.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it would have been a phenomenal movie too.
He's a great director. Well, so it might have been questionable depending on where he went with it. But what he wanted to do was, instead of fucking Ripley, because at the end of Aliens, Ripley and Hicks and Newt and Bishop all get in the escape vehicle, and then at the start of Alien 3, it's like boom, they're all dead. Ripley's solo. And so that, like, a lot of people were just like, why did you do that?
What
right?
the fuck? Yeah.
So he wrote a film when he was just like, what if we just went and forked the timeline like Marvel does, right? We'll just fork the timeline and we'll make a new movie where Ripley, Hicks, Bishop, and Newt are alive. And we go somewhere else and do something else. And it got Ripley said yes. Like Sigourney Weaver was like, I'll do it.
What?
Yeah, she was on board, and Michael Biehn was on board. Like, it was It was crazy. I remember thinking to myself, like, is this really gonna happen? Like, and it didn't happen.
Dude. One thing that I thought was really cool from some of the concept artwork was how it looked like the humans had like taken the aliens kind of technology and made this like biomechanical kind of armor that like seeped into your skin kind of thing. I don't know. It looked so fucking sick.
Yeah, let me look this up. Blomkamp alien concept art. I don't know if you've seen this, Brandon, but there was. Yeah, so
I've seen those images.
Yeah, Neil Blomkamp's alien. Oh my god, alien concept art will make you pray for more gruesome attacks. There was like a lot of really epic like hybrid, human alien stuff. What the heck? USA Today. Come on, I'm desperately trying here. The internet is against me. Yeah, you can see on screen here. There was like a bunch of cool concept art. Here's Hicks with his face melted off, right? Because that's how he would have looked if he would have survived, right? Because the aliens didn't, it was not nice to the left side of his face.
No.
Oh yeah, this too. They had the derelict from LV-426 inside of a bay, right? They were gonna be like doing something with this ship. Like, man,
they're like reverse engineering their tech and shit.
Yeah. Ooh. It would have been great. It would have been interesting. I can't remember why it got axed. I think you know why? Because he did a movie. Oh, he did Chappie. That's why. Neil Blomkamp did Chappie, and Chappie was like really poorly received.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I think that was what got him ejected from doing this.
Yeah, then they were like, okay, yeah, we changed our mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when it comes to the background like stammerings of studios and producers and all that, like obviously I don't know anything. Just from watching and seeing everything that I do online, it's kind of just a hellscape in those offices. It's the littlest things will kill a project for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
What gets me is like, so say there's this Neil Blomkamp thing that could have been done. You're talking about this AVP anime that's been shelved, and then it's like you see the stuff that does make it to the big screen, and you're like, that's what they thought was good, it just blows my mind sometimes, man.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I know that I'm a part of a very niche following, but at the same time, like, there's films that have like really dug in, like the first Alien film. I will say there's very few things that have ever touched the energy, like how that movie feels, because everybody on that ship, all the actors feel like real people. They talk like real people. They bicker and argue like real people. They sort of like dismiss and interrupt each other like real people. One thing that I really respect RidleyScott for was that he said that, like, on the set of Alien, he actually was like telling Sigourney Weaver that I can't remember the actor's name that played Parker. He was telling either one of them that they were talking a whole bunch of shit behind each other's back constantly when they weren't. He was like creating this artificial thing.
Like in real life.
Real life. He was making them have like serious disdain for each other, so that, and like you'll see it. There's actually a scene where Parker is like kind of babbling and like interrupting Ripley, and she fucking smashes her hand on the table, and he's like, she fucking, is like super pissed off at him. That was not in the script. It was like he pitted them against each other to get this real visceral, fucking uncomfortable feeling of like that's what these people would have if they were locked on this ship with each other for all this time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that's the role of a director that knows how to get like complex emotions to happen on screen, on camera, right? And it was so cool hearing that. And like apparently like Sigourney Weaver was just like so mad when she found out it was all bullshit. She was so mad. She was like, don't you ever fucking do that to me again. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure that's why that doesn't happen anymore, right? Is especially like let's say the 90s and when it stopped happening, anything that was filmed before then, it's like filming of The Exorcist and them not telling about like the fake demon vomit and stuff. So it's like, oh, those are like straight up reactions. Like directors used to torture their cast because they knew they knew that
Shelley Duvall in The Shining.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right.
She was like tormented, man.
Well, also, I mean, let's talk about one of the most iconic scenes in the Alien franchise is when the chest burster scene, right? Lambert, nobody told Lambert that there was going to be blood spraying. So like the actress that played Lambert, when the chest burster busts and the blood sprays everywhere, her reaction of getting like shot in the face with blood is legitimately a real reaction, because she was like,
it looks like it, man. Like,
yeah, she apparently was in tears. Like she was in real tears after that scene because she was just so distraught. She was like, I didn't know that it was going to be this graphic.
Yeah.
Which, like, man, no, and that's so cool to like. It's kind of fucked up to put your actors through that, but it made one of the best movies of all time. It was the everybody in that film felt like they were in serious terror, right? Powerless against this thing that is unreal powerful and just terrified. I hope that's what FedeAlvarez brings to this new movie.
I do too. I think the biggest thing is like, I don't think you need those like torturing your crew aspects to like bring out that level of acting, but you've got to have like that kind of that trust in your team. There's like a lot of the things that I feel like where movies or TV shows struggle by today's standards is that they're too overproduced. Is like there's too much of a hand, where it's like, especially like back in those days, it's like Ridley Scott is behind the scenes, not on camera, sewing some shit, and that's whatever, but allowing it where it's just like he's not sitting there, he's not directing them, be like, you two have to be angry at each other. He's not overproducing. We're just like, no, I'm just gonna let things happen as they need to.
Very conniving, you know.
Yeah. Like even without necessarily doing that, it's just whether or not that they overproduce. Like just, I'm curious. I'm hopeful.
Well, that is a symptom, or like a thing that is sort of too common in new movies and series nowadays, is that they kind of. I mean, well, for instance, I went to see the second Dune film, and I'm pretty sure most people saw that trailer for Godzilla X Kong or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, like that much is just your whole movie CG. It's like, and then, oh, there's baby Kong. Oh, let's be all cute for baby. It's not Baby Yoda. Come on. Like, at least Baby Yoda was a practical puppet.
At least when it comes to like the Godzilla films, and this isn't like, because I'll say this, Godzilla -1, if you haven't seen it and you're listening to this, go check that out too. It's phenomenal. It's very good quality, but it's written to kind of be like a dated timepiece, because it is kind of like in the past to some extent. It is a phenomenal film. They've got their fair amount of CG in it, but it's all about the storytelling there. Right. The new American like Godzilla films, they're not about the storytelling. They're not. They're about we want
fights.
Big CG monsters.
Yeah, it's like Michael Bay kind of thing.
It's it's exactly like when they made Transformers. It's like, this is a 13-year-old boy who grew up and decided to make his like personal little like 13-year-old boy diary come real. He wants to see Godzilla and Kong duke it out.
Yeah,
that's all it is. They were talking about it too as its own little anecdote. I think they mentioned that they've got something like 15 to 20 minutes that is just an entire sequence of the film that is an uninterrupted like monster fight, and it's like, that's phenomenal. I don't care if it's all CG on that. 20 minutes out of what is probably like a 2-hour film, you're talking like close to like a fifth, a quarter of the film is an uninterrupted monster brawl. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, so are you excited for this new Godzilla X Kong thing? Is this? Yeah. I saw that trailer and I was not excited.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I cringed pretty hard when I saw it in the theater. Me and my girlfriend were both just like, what the fuck was that?
See, I would agree that it would be cringe, but it's one of those things where it's like you kind of have to go into it. It's like, I don't know how to explain this. It's like
you got to go into it with the right expectations, right?
Yeah. It's like if you go into a horror movie with the expectation of I'm gonna laugh at this film because I think it's just gonna be like I can see through all the joke or like all the jump scares. So I'm just gonna like you don't do that. You sit down to watch a horror movie, like you turn the dark like the lights down low, you build the ambiance. You want to be scared, so you allow yourself to be scared. It's the same thing. Nobody should be going to like Godzilla and Kong the New Empire and being like, oh yeah, I want this to be like the I want this
to be the next
mirror.
Shawshank Redemption, dude.
Yeah, I want this to be the next Shawshank Redemption. I want this to move me, and I want to feel like the best kind of emotions and stuff. It's like, no, you're legitimately going to watch CG monsters fight.
Exactly.
That's where the expectations are.
No, for sure.
Speaking of expectations, I personally, of this new Alien film coming out, I feel like we're in a bit of a golden era. I feel like I don't have the vibe that this is going to be a mark on the series. I feel like it's going to the fact that just the fact that it's standalone means it's less risky, right? Like I feel good about this. I feel like it's going to be a ride and like sick, like give me a ride. Like Alien Isolation was which is 10 years old now too. Oh my god, it's the 10-year anniversary of Alien Isolation.
Yeah, crazy.
Getting old.
Yeah.
But like that was like the perfect like, hey, let's do something that's completely isolated but also totally related but doesn't change anything, you know?
Yeah.
They did so well with that. Like, and I'm kind of thinking that Alien Romulus is going to be similar to that vein. And if they've learned anything from Alien Isolation, they'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
So I don't know if you guys want to do like a reconvening after the trailer comes out and just do like a quick little
a
little trailer review.
Oh heck yeah, dude.
I could talk about this shit till the cows come home.
Yeah, me too.
And also, yeah, Brandon, as you said, like the whole here, I'll throw this over on the monitor here. This Alien vs Predator CCG. I desperately want to play this game again, and I know that you and Brady would definitely be down. Beau, I'm sure you'd probably. Do you play any card games? Do you play Magic?
I don't. I'm like a tabletop guy. I play like D&D and
D&D.
Not really card games.
Warhammer or anything like that, or.
I used to play Warhammer way back in the day. Now I just read the books because collecting the minis is way too fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is.
Still play a lot of D&D though. That's my go-to. I play that like once a month probably. But,
so there's two things with this card game that I have to accomplish here soon. Number one, I need for my own sanity to collect the missing pieces. I need to have the full set.
I thought you had them all, bro.
I have them all, as in all the cards I ever collected.
Okay.
Plus some of the ones that my buddy Matt that I grew up with collected as well. Because at one point we collaborated on being like, we need to put these all together. We need to make some like killer decks, and we need to play this game again.
Yeah.
And we didn't do the last part. We didn't like build the decks and play the game again. So I'm sort of sitting on the Dragon's Horde right now. But yeah, like I want to catalog it and like fill out the set because I know there's some of the stuff that I'm missing, like the sentry guns on the where is it? Here we go. The UA 571C sentry gun. This particular card I know we're missing.
Have you tried like looking into finding more? Like, is it hard to find this stuff or
every time I've looked in the past few years, they're on eBay. You can find them on eBay. Okay. They're not expensive. Okay. It didn't really hold its value very well. And I mean, I'd be willing to pay a lot to complete this set. And like, I know that when we used to play back in the day, we were too young. We didn't know how to play it properly. We just really didn't. And I've tried to look up on YouTube. I've tried to look up content on people playing this game or how to play this game. There's fucking nothing. There's nothing.
Well, I mean, because there's nobody looking for it. Nobody's playing it to begin with.
This was such an important part of my childhood, and it has been lost to time.
Like it's like some Mandela effect shit. Like this game never existed.
Yeah.
Well, we'll fulfill that childhood dream of your Tanners. We're gonna record some episodes of this. Get it out there.
Coming soon on the Rogues Passage gameplay.
Heck yeah.
We're gonna play Alien vs Predator CCG, and also another one. Whole another rabbit hole we could go down. There's a BattleTech CCG as well. like BattleTech.
Ooh, love BattleTech.
Yeah,
Mech Warrior. Yeah,
Mech Warrior was one of the first like multiplayer games I got obsessed with. Mech Warrior 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was also a CCG for that, and I do still have my cards.
Oh shit,
that's hilarious.
I want to build decks with all these really old school obscure niche like even there was a pretty banger Final Fantasy card game that came out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I kind of want to play that too. Although we won't have to play the Final Fantasy CCG because Magic the Gathering is doing a Final Fantasy set soon. So yeah, I mean, anyway, so there's all this stuff to come in the future. For now, I guess we'll wrap the episode with hope and
positive
vibes and
and a thinly veiled threat that if either of you directors, either behind the TV show or the movie, fuck either of these up, I'm going to personally come to your house and find a way to bring an alien into real life so it can hunt you.
Is that what you call a thinly veiled threat?
Yeah, that seemed pretty fucking well laid out to me on there.
Holy shit.
Well,
okay.
Considering half of that isn't actually possible.
I'm going to let a facehugger out in your room, bro.
Exactly.
All right. I'm gonna outro this too on your music, Beau. What like? Sweet. Is it okay? Myiasis, right? It's one of those words.
Says it right. It's all good.
Yeah, it's one of those words. It's tough to. I always see it, but I rarely say it. But do you want to plug your stuff where people can find you on your socials?
Real quick. Yeah, you betcha. So Myiasis, we're like a new metal revival band from Edmonton. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Myiasis Band 780. We got some shows coming up. We're playing Edmonton March 29th, Red Deer March 30th, Edmonton again April 16th. I'm also in another band, Sionis. We're a metalcore band, Edmonton based. We're playing Highlight Fest April 12th in Edmonton. If you like metal, check us out.
Hell yes. And there's still a clip floating around of you doing Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit, right?
Yeah, there's some live clips. We played a lot at our live shows. It's a big, heavy favorite, so we'll probably be bringing that back for the next shows. So yeah, if you like Limp Bizkit, Korn, Slipknot, that kind of shit, that's kind of the sound we're going for, with some modern death metal kind of mixed in. So
it's good. Gets the stamp of approval. It's very good.
Oh yeah, and we got an album coming out soon too. We're just in the studio recording that with Myiasis, so look out for that. It'll be 8 tracks, heavy, gnarly shit. So
this year?
Yeah, hoping to have it out hopefully by the fall, something like that.
Sick.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on. This will not be the last time that I request your presence. I definitely want to keep going. We've got the whole Predator series to talk about.
Fuck yeah, I'm in, buddy. Yeah, just let me know.
Sick. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody that listens to our podcast of us ranting about nerdy weeby whatever shit. I love doing this. I love the podcast element of this project. Sometimes there's just stuff like, especially, man, this card game, this stuff that's been built up my whole life that I just need to talk about, and I'm stoked to actually, I guess, share this with other people that are interested in the franchise. So until next time, we'll catch you on the next episode of the Rogues Passage podcast. Have a good night. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.